On behalf of the BJP Nagaland, we would like to welcome our Honorable Union Minister with a boki and Semanaga traditional vest. The state ST Morcha would also like to give a small token of love to Sir Rijiju. State ST Morcha. Secondly, we would also like to welcome Sir Nalim Koli with a boki and our Naga traditional vests. We would also like to honor Sir Molomukipon, national spokesperson with Naga traditional mufra. The party would also like to honor our BLP leader and Deputy Chief Minister, Sir Waipatan, with traditional Naga mufra. Okay, and that's for the presentation. We shall now have the time for press conference on Union Budget 2023, 2022 and 23. May I have the privilege and honor to call upon our Honorable Union Minister for Law and Justice to kindly address the media person. Thank you, sir.
My greetings to everyone. Honorable Deputy Chief Minister of Nagaland, the State BJP President, Alinji, our spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party from Nagaland, Honorable Ministers, MLAs and media friends. I'm happy to be here after a long gap because of the pandemic as well as for certain difficulties. Almost after a gap of more than 2 years, I'm able to come back to Nagaland, so I feel very refreshing. I'm energized again because during the previous election, I spent a long time campaigning for the party, and happy to see that state is progressing very well. I have been sent here with a specific purpose to interact with our media friends with regards to the budget 22-23. I have some documents in my hand, but I feel that since this year we had the first ever fully digital budget, and these days it is very easy to access any documents from various sources. So it will not be wise to repeat what the Honorable Finance Minister Nirmala ji had presented on the floor of Lok Sabha. we have witnessed the budget. The whole country had welcomed the budget. All different sectors had wholeheartedly appreciated and welcomed the budget, including the business community and the stock markets. People in the remote areas also felt, those who have witnessed the budget presentation, that the budget has brought many things for every section of the society. When I am here in Nagaland and northeastern states, I would just make few remarks about how the intention and vision of our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji is being reflected in this budget presented by the Finance Minister. Normally when the budgets are presented in the Parliament, very few people feel connected. Very few people realize that the budget has brought something for us. Especially those taxpayers, they feel that how much relief is provided for the taxpayers and how much tax being imposed on different goods and services. So that is how the budget has been perceived over the years. What is the change we have seen when Narendra Modi ji took over as the Prime Minister of this country is the budget is focused not only for the business community and corporate, but budget is focused for the most common people living in the remotest parts of our country. So here it is very relevant for the northeastern states. First of all, this budget is termed as Atmanirbhar ka budget. This is a self-reliant budget. This budget will ensure that we become self-sufficient. We will not rely on the imports and the supports from outside India or outside our own states. Every state, region and the country as a whole will be strengthened to the core in different sectors. I am personally very excited because I come from northeastern India. Now being a senior minister in the cabinet, I'm very excited to see that the budget has provisions specifically made for northeastern region. All the time, whenever there is any review meeting or a cabinet meeting or council of ministers meeting or a meeting for any purpose, the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji will inquire about the success of the particular scheme and program in northeastern region. He invariably tells that unless the program is successful in northeast, it will not be considered as a successful program. The amount of focus and attention Honorable Prime Minister gives for the northeastern region, it's immense. His love, his connect with Northeast is immeasurable. I have been in politics for a long time now. Since 1991, I have been part of the electoral politics. I have fought so many elections. I have never witnessed that the Prime Minister of the country gives so much focus and attention to Northeastern region. We feel privileged. There may be criticism by some corners from some political parties, which is expected because we are in a democratic country. So political parties are there to criticize or to speak against each other. But broadly, if you see, if you leave aside politics, then nobody can match the amount of love and affection Narendra Modi ji has extended for the northeastern region. One of the points which I would like to highlight is the Prime Minister's initiative for northeastern region, which is in short called PMGATI. Now for the first time, a provision is inserted in the budget that northeastern region is a very unique. It has its own difficulties and challenges. All the sectors are dealt by different ministries and departments. But a separate PM's divine, this is created for the purpose of funding the gaps, taking care of those things which are not included in any of the schemes or provisions. Because in Northeast there are many things which are not part of the budget. Even in my constituency I realize that there are certain problems which are not funded by any programs or policies or any ministries or departments or Government of India agencies. So that is why Prime Minister doesn't want to leave any gap for Northeast. So PM Divine program, which will be implemented by Northeastern Council, which is chaired by the Honorable Home Minister, initial budgetary allocation of 1500 crore has been allocated. Now this 1500 crore is the initial amount, and because our Honorable Deputy CM and Party President and our Honorable Ministers and MLAs are also here, and through them and to our partner, I will be with Honorable Chief Minister a little while later. I will also tell him that Nagaland should take maximum benefit out of this PM Divine. This can include anything, especially infrastructure or creating some permanent assets in far-flung areas. So this PM Divine will be a blessing for the entire Northeastern region. You must be aware of the total allocation which has been given to Northeast. During Vajpayee's time, a decision had been taken that 10% of the total expenditure of every ministry or department must be devoted to Northeastern region. Now, last year, in 2021-22 budget, the total allocation for the Northeastern region was 68,020 crore. Now you imagine, in 1 year, the quantum jump, despite the difficulties of the pandemic. This year, for Northeastern region, the total allocation is 78,040 crore. This is a jump of more than, you can imagine it's more than 10 crore. So this huge jump, 10,000 crore, it's a jump of more than 10,000 crore. This amount of enhancement of budgetary allocation for Northeast is the highest ever. It's difficult to compare with the figures because the figure is quite high. Now here I want to make some critical remarks. In Northeast, because we had a long tradition of Congress culture, Congress rule, so now the BJP government, BJP-led government or coalition government where BJP is part of the government, we are trying to enhance the capacity. Because what has been observed is that all the budgetary allocation made are never utilized fully because we have a constraint of our own capacity. It's something like you are provided with food but you are unable to consume. So when you are unable to consume a food which is available in your plate, you can't ask more because you are unable to consume which is served to you. So it means we have to enhance our capacity to utilize the budgetary allocation provided to Northeastern region. So to enhance the capacity, we have to take care of many things. I will not dwell into the details of what steps are required because each state government has made action plans, vision, documents, and all preparations are being made. In Nagaland, many corrective steps are being taken by the state government, and I am sure in the coming years, this budgetary allocation will be utilized fully so that more funds can be provided. There are certain difficulties in terms of utilization in our region because of the land issues, like Dimapur, Kohima, this highway section got certain delays because of the land issues and all. There are court cases, there are certain issues at the local level, tender problems, besides shortage of technical people. So we do have problems in terms of building the capacity, but we will do it. So once we as a state, we take care of our capacity, we will be able to utilize efficiently all the budgetary allocations made by the Government of India. At the same time, we will also increase our revenue resources so that we become self-sufficient or generate enough resources and with the matching of the massive allocation from the central government, we can take care of our states. We do have certain problems, like because we are not a very big state. So being a smaller state, our revenue base is also very narrow. And we have to take care of every sector. And we do have to run many welfare schemes also. So in a democratic society, we have to take care of certain areas where we do not generate revenue, but we have to spend money. Though we don't get income out of that spending, but we have to do it because we are responsive government and we are elected government. So we have to take certain steps which may be termed as a populist step, but we have to do it. So as emerging state of northeastern states are building our internal capacity, and in the days to come, I'm sure we will totally become Atmanirbhar. We will become self-reliant. In the same manner, the PMGATI program, the PMGATI Shakti is a program launched by the Honorable Prime Minister focusing on infrastructure. Now this infrastructure mainly of 7 sectors like roads, railways, airports, ports, mass transport, waterways and logistic infrastructure. Now because without a proper infrastructure, state cannot uplift itself. Like if we have to make our body active and strong, we have to make our legs strong, we have to make body strong. In the same manner, we have to strengthen our infrastructure so that the state becomes strong, on the basis of which the citizens can make their life much easier. So life must be made easier. That is why Prime Minister has focused on ease of living, ease of doing business. So to do that, you have to have adequate infrastructure. So PMGATI Shakti has been a focused area. Thereafter, we have issues with regards to telecom. Now, wherever I go to rural areas, one of the first complaint I receive is we don't have proper 4G network. Now we are talking about 5G, which Finance Minister has already announced that we are starting 5G from this year. Now 4G network in northeastern region, in the far-flung areas, have been a challenge because I have faced it. So in the previous term, Modi ji's the first term, lots of funds were allocated for development of infrastructure with regards to telecom. Now most of those schemes could not reach the desired destination because the laying of cable, because of the local issues, because of the road problem, we really could not take it off in most parts of the northeastern region, especially in the border areas. So a major shift has taken place this time in changing the policy. Very soon, the telecom minister will also come. I have told him both of us should make a joint visit, or maybe we will have a meeting with all the honorable chief ministers of the northeastern states. So this time, we are going to erect the towers. Now the cable tension will not be there. So all the remote areas will be provided with 4G network by erecting the towers. So the towers will be raised in all strategic and all important locations across the difficult remote areas of northeastern region. So this will be a major shift for all of us in terms of getting proper network, because Prime Minister has launched the Digital India. Now Digital India will not be successful unless we provide the top class network. That is why this comprehensive step has been initiated. Now beside that, there are so many programs and policies being envisaged, but if I read out all the points, it will take long time. But as I have told you earlier, that I would rather prefer to highlight the intentions and the visions of the Honorable Prime Minister. Now, northeastern region is strategically very, very important part of our country. And we all know 98% of our borders are with international other countries like China, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Bhutan. And if you count Sikkim, then Nepal also. So only 2% is linked with our mainland. So we have to take advantage of our international borders. So Prime Minister's Look East policy is really taking a shape now. Now in the coming year, we all will feel the impact of Prime Minister's turn into Act East. Earlier it was Look East, which was just looking without action. Now it is Act East, means with action. So the Act East policy, backed by the solid policy support, budgetary support by the Government of India, is making Northeast a very, very attractive destination. And because of the pandemic, we really faced lots of difficulties. And during pandemic, I had personally interacted with most of the state government and the agencies. And the Prime Minister's first priority was, during this crisis, nobody should be left to fend himself or herself. So we ensured, first of all, food, medicine, electricity, water supply, all critical support required by the people are provided. And I personally monitored the entire support system in the northeastern region. Wherever there was no road, the air service was provided, all our Air Force personnel were engaged. Even during the first phase and second phase of the pandemic, you all know, even the drivers, the personnel, they are also human beings. They are also worried. They also have to think about their own safety. So despite that, taking all the measures of safety and security, we did not let any part of northeastern region left to themselves. We ensured that the medicine supply, the food supply, and all other basic amenities and items are provided on time. And now also the vaccination drive is going on. We feel proud that India, you don't count China right now, because China has its own system, communist country. Otherwise, India has launched the largest ever vaccination drive in the world. And today we are the leading countries. We have left USA and other countries behind in terms of vaccination, in terms of manufacturing of the COVID vaccination. So it is something which it did not happen automatically. Prime Minister engaged himself with the technical people, with the doctors, with the scientists, and all the supports were provided. Everything was properly guided. That is why today we are becoming one of the main hub of supplying all important medical equipments to the global community also. So all this thing has become a reality because of a strong leadership. And we are proud that our Prime Minister is today the most popular elected leader of the world. You must have seen, I need not elaborate. Any global poll or opinion conducted not by our Indian agencies, the global agencies, Americans, the Europeans, or some Asian agencies, since last 2-3 years, we have been following closely any consideration to decide the most popular leader of the world. Narendra Modi ji is always the number one. So not as a member of BJP or as a minister in the government, but as an Indian, I know that my Prime Minister is the most popular leader in the world. This is something which we should celebrate across the society or across the political party lines. There are certain things in the interest of the state, society, and the nation we should celebrate. Success is to be celebrated. So that is why I am personally satisfied to the Northeast. And Northeast is seeing the result. But as I said earlier, we do have certain challenges. We do have certain problems, some inherent problems, and that cannot be solved overnight. So all the efforts and attempts are being made, and I'm sure in the And besides that, let me also inform, that you all already know it, when I took over as Minister of State for Home Affairs in 2014, one of the major issues what we used to face in Delhi was a question of identity. And every now and then, Northeastern boys and girls used to face problems. Problems do happen. We know that whether you live here in Dimapur, Kohima, or any part of the country, any part of the world, problems do happen. Human beings do have conflict. Situation. But the problem is, when the problems happen, there must be some resolve to tackle the problem. So before 2014, whenever any Northeastern person, especially the students, face problem in Delhi or any part of the country, there was nowhere to go. Whenever there was some discrimination or something happened, and the boys and girls would approach the police, and even the police would not take any step or any kind of help, because there were no provisions to deal with the Northeastern problems separately. So after the blessings from the Honorable Prime Minister, we make a special provision. It was for the first time that in national capital we recruited the boys and girls from Northeast in Delhi Police. That was a very unique. Normally in the national capital police, you can't appoint persons from special region as a special case, because appointment, you all know, it's an open process and it's a competitive process which you have to go through it. But we made special relaxation, and today close to 1,000 young boys and girls, and they are donning the Delhi Police uniform, and they are always there. And whenever there are issues with regards to any person from Northeastern region, Delhi Police takes care of this problem along with a person from Northeastern region working in Delhi Police. And there are 36 special girls as commando. There's a unique special commando team, all Northeastern girls, all girls. And they are working as a special commando team in Delhi Police. And then we have a very senior officer, Joint Commissioner level officer in Delhi Police, specifically dealing with the special cell for the protection and for guidance and assistance to the people of Northeastern region. These were never thought about before 2012. This happened because the leadership, I was there because I was part of the entire process. I was personally looking after this drive, and this happened because of the blessings and support of my Honorable Prime Minister. So this is just, I'm giving an example. There are so many cases which happened because of the BJP government and because of our Honorable Prime Minister. I'm very happy that we got a very strong BJP team here. All our honorable ministers, honorable MLAs are very, very effective. They're taking care of their constituency and the state. And our Chief Minister here in Nagaland is a very senior person, Nefurioji, and we are working together so that we can improve the life of the Naga people. So as I promised, I will not speak at length. I think I have already taken more than 10 minutes. So to address the press is always better if you speak precise and less. And you have more information, you have more figures, you have more documents, you have more connect than me, because you are working in this digital world, in the media fraternity. I'm sure you must have gone through the budget speech and budget documents. If you want to make certain points, certain information, you can immediately click to the budget 22-23 and you can get the information. But I'm here just to re-emphasize the efforts being made to improve the life of the people of Northeastern region. And when I'm here, Nagaland will certainly benefit much more than what we had benefited in the past. And if there are any assistance required from my side, I'm always available for the people of Nagaland. Thank you very much.
thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir, for your impressive and remarkable budget speech. Now the time for the media fraternity to raise any query or questions, and the party expected the media fraternity to raise only 3 questions among the media fraternity. Thank you. The time is given to the media fraternity for any query. Thank you.
Very good afternoon, sir. Very good afternoon, sir. This question is not related to the budget. My question to you is that there has been frequent adoptions from the Chinese people in Arunachal, and your colleague, Mr. Tapir Gao, has also appealed in Parliament to secure the release of another Arunachali adopted by the PLA in 2015. So, have you urged the Center for efforts to secure his release?
Well, this matter is very serious in nature. You all know that Arunachal has a long boundary with China. That is a Tibetan territory, now part of China. When in 1914 the boundary was decided, it was not demarcated on the ground. It was known as McMahon line. So McMahon line was an understanding during that time, British India time, but pillars, posts or demarcation could not take place. Because of which many of our Arunachali people, they go for hunting, herb collection or for other purpose. Sometimes they cross over to the side where Chinese claim as their territory. In the same manner, many Chinese people or Tibetan people, they also cross over to our side. So whenever we feel that they have come towards our territory, they are under the captivity of the Indian Army, and through a process they are returned back. In the same manner, whenever our Arunachali local people go towards other side or they take in custody, we follow the same procedure. There is a set protocol and they also return back. So the person which you just mentioned was found to be missing in 2015. But we don't know, because we have already communicated to the Chinese side, but there is no response about his whereabouts. Maybe he has gone that side, maybe he is missing somewhere. We don't have any evidence, but we believe that he has gone to the other side. So unless they respond about his whereabouts, we have very little option to inform about what is happening in the other side of the boundary. So we can't say anything definitely, but our efforts are on. We have already reminded to the People's Liberation Army about the person from Arunachal. If they respond, then we will try to secure. If they don't respond, we will still continue our effort.
Also, sir, what are the steps being taken to reduce the number of pending cases in courts across the country?
See, the pending cases are increasing all over the country, but efforts are on to reduce the pendency or to dispose the cases as fast as possible. For that, there are various steps being taken, and I cannot explain everything, the efforts being taken, because there is a lengthy process which we have adopted. But what I can say is, along with the Supreme Court, High Courts and the district courts and the subordinate courts, we have taken up various steps by using the technology, by adopting various steps, by driving awareness program, providing legal aids to the needy people. So I am very much concerned about the pendency of the cases, and I am sure along with the judiciary, government is working very, very hard to ensure that the delivery of justice is faster and the the hearing of the cases also becomes faster. At the same time, pendency cases also can be taken care of.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, the Finance Minister had said in Parliament that lakhs of houses would be given to people and employment generated. So how is the government planning to do this, especially in the northeast region, and without having to send our youth out, but to keep them working here?
See, if you see the budget, there are various announcements and provisions kept which will ensure that each household or each individual will get benefit under various schemes. For example, the PM Awas Yojana. So everybody must be provided some benefits from the budget. That is what I mentioned, that nobody is left out. So for a family, a house is very important. For a person, for a woman, what are the benefits a woman require? So as per the category, the requirements are being taken care of. So what you said about the youth, about the future is, what we consider Atmanirbhar, the budget is, we will empower the youth, we will empower the entrepreneurs through the various schemes which we have launched, and then ensure that they do not really struggle to lead their life. And for that, the supports are there. As I said, you can connect with various provisions of the budget. So for Northeastern region, all the provisions are made. I am encouraging the youth to take the benefit of the schemes being announced in the budget.
Yes, good afternoon, sir. My question is not related with the budget, but here is a question from NLTV. With the NPF and the NDTV party almost on the verge of merging, is the BJP just taking up the lines of wait and watch policy, or you are taking it easy?
Look, this is a political question. I am not the party in charge. These are decisions to be taken by the party along with our state leaders. So this question should be addressed later on when our political in charge and party leaders address. Today, I will not get into the political affairs.
Okay. So I have a question for you here. Being the law minister of the country, do you plan to bring in Parliament an act to amend the AFSPA, Armed Forces Special Power Act?
The Home Ministry has already taken a step to ensure that what are the necessary actions to be taken. The fact that we do have problems in Northeast, the insurgency problems or some movements which are there in Northeast is very, very old, especially Nagaland. The issues are very old and these are sensitive, and Home Ministry is well aware of it. That is why they have discussed with the chief ministers, and there are committees being appointed, and committee is looking into the things, and I can feel it because I have dealt with this subject for 5 years as a Minister of State for Home Affairs for 5 years. I know these are very sensitive matter. So when Home Minister Amit Shah ji has personally felt that these issues being raised by various sections of society needs to be addressed rationally, so let the committee and let the relevant people come on the board and discuss it appropriately, and I cannot make any judgment or any announcement here.
Okay, last question.
I have a question for you. Consider the youth icon. With a huge unemployment issue here in Nagaland, what practical advice would you give to the youth here?
Who is the youth icon?
Consider the youth icon, Mr. Rijiju.
Okay.
We consider you a youth icon.
No, but I am no more very young. See, youth, I'm making a very important statement here. Because of the background, our youths are used to movement through student organizations, through organizations in the villages on community line. Community line. So in Northeast, in every state you will find that there are student unions. There are unions In the village also, there are unions in every sector. My appeal to them is, to be part of union association is part of our democratic rights. I have no problem with that. But we should not be confined to the unions and associations alone. Because we have to engage in productive activities. How do you become prosperous? By production through output. Your output will be meaningful when you engage meaningfully in any activity which is productive. Merely being part of the association or union is good for your rights and your identity, but it doesn't lead to your prosperity. Prosperity will come when you engage gainfully in any of the activities which will lead to the economic generation. So that is why my request to all the youth, as you have asked me about my advice to the youth of Northeast, especially Nagaland, is do whatever you want to do. It's a free country, but please involve in gainful activities which will bring economic prosperity to the state, to the society. We should celebrate if we become president, secretaries of unions and associations. But we should celebrate more if you achieve in the field of science, economic activities, you become superstar in the field of sports, cultural field, music. So there are many fields where we really need to celebrate. So becoming leadership doesn't mean that you represent just the organization. So that is why my appeal to the youth is, please devote your time and energy, because Northeastern youth are very energetic. Devote your time and energy for the productive activities more. Yeah.
We have another session.
I have
so the
one last
time is running out.
I have one last question, sir, if you allow me to. Since our Honorable Sir has not replied to my previous question, here is one question for you, sir. Will the BJP go for seat sharing or go all alone in the coming 2023 election? Yes, okay, sir. What are your prospects in Manipur? Will you be able to form government again? Please.
See, BJP, as I have already said in my brief address, BJP has gained the faith of the people. And Northeastern people have already decided that under BJP only, Northeast will be integrated in terms of taking forward the country, and the mainstreaming of the every section of society is happening under BJP. So Manipur also, BJP will form government again. Anyway, I am going to Manipur now, right from Dimapur for election campaigning.
That's all. Yeah. The press, thank you very much. The press can leave.
No, we will leave first.
Sir, we have second session. At least
I want to, on behalf of the BJP Nagaland, also thank the media for being here, for Kiren Ji's speech and interaction with you. On behalf of Kiren Ji, I want to mention to our Karyakartas that he said that he will be coming back again to Nagaland and he wants to have a separate interaction with the party workers. So we are looking forward to him being back in Nagaland very soon. I think the Honorable CM is also waiting and the Cabinet for the official function that he's also here for. Thank you very much.
Thank you.